Episode 6, season finale. There is no normal. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of Miss Marvel. Thank goodness. And it's your boy Icon with a little Marvel TV. And my statement from episode 5 still holds true. I feel like episode 5 was the season finale because it felt more like a season finale. But in this episode, we have to pick up the pieces and continue the storyline because Cameron and Bruno got attacked by the damage control in the last episode. Let's focus on Kamala for a moment, who she's back. She's back, she's back from Pakistan. Her and her entire family's back, and now her entire family knows her secret that she is the golden girl, the light girl that's been terrorizing Jersey City. And so they get the report while she's talking to her family and everything. So no more stories about about Nani. Like I actually missed that. See, that's the thing. It's like because they've somewhat gone away from her original storyline with her being like Inhuman and all this other stuff, and they went the route of her having like a magic bangle which gives her her power. I miss the storyline based on the heritage and the history. So it's like we moved on from that now because we answered all those questions in the last episode. So now we're back here and there's no talk about the history, the bangle, no nothing. Now she's just some random girl that has superpowers and she just lives in Jersey City. Her friends, they're in trouble now, like Cameron and Bruno, they're in trouble. She gets the alert and then she has to go help her friends. Her mom stops her on the way. I don't know how her mom had time to make that costume, but her mom, she gives her the costume. Obviously the girl got her own sneakers, and then she has the traditional Miss Marvel costume on, and now she's going out to save her friends. The damage control people, they're going around trying to capture Cameron and Bruno. They're chasing them all over the city. The other girl, like the best friend, the one is like the leader of the mosque now, she gets in on it. Like they hide with her, and then she tells them to go to the school. While they're going to the school, then Miss Marvel shows up. We get a shot at the costume. We get a shot at the full-blown costume. Everybody in the school now. They're in the school. They're hiding from from damage control. Damage control finds them, and then when damage control finds them, they bust into the school. The other girl, the redheaded girl that she saved in the first episode, happened to be in the school, and she just came out of nowhere, and she was like, I was in the school doing my TikTok videos. She knows Kamala now is light bright, like the light girl. She knows the secret. Nobody said anything about the fact that she knows her identity. Nobody was surprised that she knows her identity. There was never a conversation about her identity. The girl it was almost like they needed 5 people. It was almost like they needed an excuse to have 5 people, and they just randomly just dumped her in at the last minute. That girl held no significance to anything whatsoever other than being an extra body for them to do whatever it is that they do. Her brothers showed up, and like that was weird, and I'm just like, okay, so now we needed 6 bodies in order for them to do what they needed to do. And they come up with a plan because the damage control, they busted into the school looking for Cameron, and now Kamala, along with her friends, they come up with this elaborated Home Alone scheme where they booby trap the entire school and do all these things to distract damage control so they can sneak Cameron out of the school. Now, this would have been the perfect moment because, again, there was really no need for all that. And I feel like this was more of a budget issue because if they had the budget to be able to utilize Kamala's power, there was no need to have that Home Alone sequence in the school. Kamala herself could have taken down the BC. She could have used her power to distract them. It's almost like if you have a superhero with you, why are you setting up booby traps all over the school? Listen, it was just a thing to get like the other 4 characters involved and to give them something to do. The girl didn't even use her power while she was in the school. So her and Cameron, they get outside. When they get outside, the BC is outside, that the white lady that's in charge of it, she's going for blood. Her boss called her and said, bitch, stand down and, walk away. And because she has a problem, and they never said what her issue was because the girl had a hard on for trying to take these people down. When it was clear that they were saving lives, when it was clear that they were just scared teenagers, when it was just clear that they weren't a threat, that they weren't a danger to society, this woman was still like, shoot them, kill them all. And I'm like, we never found, because we only get 6 episodes, we never never found out what her personal gripe was, which was why she was going so hard at trying to like kill this kid. Like did superpower people do something to her? Did they, did they offend her somehow? Did they kill a member of her family? We never got her backstory. Like that whole thing was just that was just very weird for me. Like her motivation for why she was just going so hard. So anyway, she tries to kill Cameron. Cameron uses his power now, like he lights up the room or whatever. And then he puts up like shields or whatever. His shields fail. Kamala jumps out of the school. She puts her shield up. And then her parents show up at the crime scene because the other girl, she had used social media to tell everybody what was going on. So like the whole crowd came down to the school. Kamala's using her shields, to protect Cameron from the bullets and everything. And then after that, Cameron now, he's starting to tap into the dark side a little bit. Like he's looking just like, look, I did nothing wrong. And he's like, these people are trying to kill me. So if you don't care about me, then I don't care about you. And he was being very reckless. Like there were times where he almost hurt people. He almost hurt her parents. Like she almost killed people. And Kamala spent half the time trying to stop damage control from killing Cameron. And then she spent the other half of the time stopping Cameron from killing other people. And that just turned like this whole back and forth thing. But then finally, the woman at damage control used this sonic device and she blasted Cameron and she blasted Kamala across the street. When she did that, and then she was actually going to kill Cameron, Kamala tapped into, like the deepest, darkest essences of her power. She channeled her inner Bengal. She used the Embiggen line and she grew bigger. And it was like, I wish that moment would have felt better to me. It was almost like, because the thing is, the problem is, the whole point of her saying Embiggen was the fact that she was an Inhuman who had elastic powers. She could stretch her arms, she could stretch her body, she could grow big, she could shrink. Because she had those expanding rubber powers, her saying Embiggen meant something because she was stretching her body. Because the thing is, in this moment here, when she said Embiggen and just crystallized herself to be a bigger person, there was nothing in the moment, like there was no lead up to that moment. There was nothing about that moment that made you say, hey, the line is coming, the line is coming. And then when she said it, just felt flat when she said it because there was no reason. It's not like the word Embiggen meant something to her or someone that she knows. It wasn't a line of Carol Danvers or anything. Like there was no significance to that word. And then in that moment, in an actual battle when your life is at stake, you're not going to say Embiggen, like the word Embiggen. And it's like we understand why she said it, for character purposes. But from a storyline standpoint, from a writing standpoint, there was no reason to say the line other than the fact that you just felt like you had to say the line. So then when she said the line, I was just like, oh. And then, even when she grew, I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, you're still not like rubber bandish, but it was a decent light show, like she grew, she was beating people up or whatever. She stopped the car from killing her mama. And and then after that, Cameron, like he basically like, channeled like his inner mama, and then he tried to kill everybody. But then, then Miss Marvel, she came over to him and then she talked him down, and then she called what is it? The Red Arrow, the Red Falcon, the Red Daggers. She called the Red Daggers and told them to meet Cameroon down by the docks so they can get him out of the city. And then, she basically talked him down, and then she punched a hole in the floor. He escaped into the hole in the floor. He went to go meet the Red Daggers down by the docks, and I guess they took him back to Pakistan, where they're going to work with him and focus on him like channeling his power. And then after that, then, when the crystal shield fell, Miss Marvel was the only one left standing. The woman from Damage Control, she was like, kill the girl. And I was like, really? She was like, kill the girl. And then that's when like the whole crowd showed up and they surrounded Kamala and they protected her because they're just like, oh, this girl saved our lives. Like she saved everybody. She's not a threat. She's not a danger. And then she was like, you will not kill her. And then, like the woman like tried to fight her way through. And then by the time she got to the center where Kamala was supposed to be, Kamala had ran off and then she escaped. And then it was at that moment that woman's boss called her back. And then he was like, bitch, he's like, you on TV using our name to kill innocent teenagers who ain't do nothing wrong. He was like, if you don't bring your bony ass right back down to headquarters, he's like, you've been relieved of your duties. And, he hung up the phone. And then she was just like, okay, everybody, we're leaving. And then she walked away. And I'm like, what is your problem? Like, I never understood what this girl's problem was. But then, like I said, she left. The town cheered. they did this whole thing on social media where everybody was like, oh, we have a representation, we have a Pakistani hero, and then it was just like, free ice cream for everybody to help celebrate. And then I guess Kamala was supposed to be at the party. She was on the roof, talking to her daddy. And then this was another thing that kind of fell flat to me, where the Carol Danvers thing, and we'll get to that in a second. The one thing that the show did not do, Miss Marvel is at her core a Captain Marvel fangirl. The fact that she has superpowers is secondary. Her entire existence as a hero, as a superhero, is based on the fact that she is a super fangirl of Captain Marvel. With the exception of episode 1, none of that was displayed throughout this entire episode. It was more about her family's background, her family's history, which I enjoyed. It was nothing about superheroes, her being a superhero, or her being a super fan of a superhero. Captain Marvel never even met Kamala face to face in this thing. So when her dad basically ran down her name and said that her name means, like Marvel or perfect, and then he first of all, he said like 13 different names until he got to Marvel. And then he was just like, oh, me and your mother, you are Miss Marvel. So it's like, okay, so she got her name from the dad, not from her trying to mimic Captain Marvel. And then she even said, she was like, oh, you guys named me after Carol Danvers? Of course your parents didn't name you after Carol Danvers, because they didn't care or know about Carol Danvers. They just named you that because, like, they said she was a miracle baby. But now all of a sudden she's like, oh, I have a tie-in to Carol Danvers. I'm like, so now we're talking about Carol Danvers again. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're back on that train. And I'm like, the Captain Marvel thing just fell completely flat to me. They changed too much. It's like either change her powers and have her story be based on her family history, or make her Inhuman and have her be a Captain Marvel fangirl. They tried too hard to squeeze both of those things together. It's like they tried to do their own thing and be comic book accurate at the same time, and it didn't work for me. So anyway, so she got her name, she got her costume, and even the mask, when Bruno gave her the mask like 3 episodes ago, I was like, that was pointless. Like, her mom could have made the mask, like there was no significance to Bruno making the mask. Her mom could have made the mask because her mom made her costume. Anyway, so she takes off, and then that's it. She meets with her friends. Bruno ends up going away for college. They steal Cameron's car, and then that's how the episode ended. But then in the final credit scene, because there's always a final credit scene, she's Kamala. She's in her room, and then when she's upstairs in her room, the bangle starts glowing, and then when the bangle starts glowing, Kamala disappears into the closet, and when she comes out of the closet, she looked like She looked like Captain Marvel. And I guess that was Brie. I mean, unless she lost a significant amount of weight, I guess that was Brie Larson. At first, I was just like, because I think what happened was Kamala turned, like the bangle turned Kamala into Captain Marvel, because she was looking around like, oh my God, like the way she was looking was like that was still Kamala. She just looked like Captain Marvel. And I just assumed they CGI'd Brie Larson's face like onto somebody. I seriously doubt Brie Larson showed up for that scene. Because if you were gonna pay Brie Larson to be a part of this series, you might as well have paid her during the fight with Damage Control. She should have flown out of the sky and told Damage Control to cease and desist and stop trying to kill these kids. And then she has a conversation with Kamala. If you weren't gonna have her do that, you're not going to pay Brie Larson to show up just to step out of the closet and look at herself in the mirror. I feel that whole thing was CGI. Is it that she got replaced with Captain Marvel? Is it that Captain Marvel was somewhere in outer space doing her outer space thing, and then her and like Kamala and Captain Marvel switched places? Or is it that was Kamala and for some reason the bangle just turned Kamala into Captain Marvel? I am very confused and I need questions. And when the episode was over, it said Miss Marvel will return in the Marvels. So I guess that means there's going to be a TV series or a movie with Captain Marvel and Kamala together. And if it's supposed to be a movie or a TV series with both of them together, why did they substitute one for the other? Or why did they have her turn into her? Like I said, I'm confused. I now have questions, and because I have questions, I want answers, and I'm going to look forward to seeing how the story unfolds going forward. And another thing, when the episode started, they put something up on the TV that said some scenes may be offensive to certain people. And I'm like, well, that's that wasn't subtle. And unless they're talking about the officers running into the mosque and disrespecting the mosque, I didn't see anything offensive about. I'm still trying to figure out what they were talking about. There was nothing about this that I viewed as offensive. So, but when they said that, you knew it had to be something. There's only two things that it can mean. That means somebody having sex, or they're gonna do something that could offend someone culturally. So please let me know in the comments section below if there was something in this episode that you felt could have been offensive to the culture and why they felt the need to put that up before the episode started. But but overall, the show was decent. I mean, it's not like, it's the type of show where if there were other shows out, if somebody told me, hey, the first season 3, if season 3 of Superman and Lois, season 5 of Titans, and season 2 of Miss Marvel all started on the same day at the exact same time, and I had to watch them in a certain order, all I'm gonna say is Miss Marvel would be the one I watch last. But there were a lot of aspects of it that was enjoyable. I mean, I'm not running the streets talking about everybody, you need to watch this show. I mean, if you watch it, you watch. If you like Marvel, if you watch it, then hey, watch it, check it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for the representation, because if you are someone of Pakistan, like, of heritage, you should watch it because your culture is represented in this TV series. And that was one of the things that I enjoyed about it. I enjoyed the culture. I enjoyed learning about the culture, and I enjoyed seeing those those people, those types of characters on television, because we don't get to see Pakistani characters on TV a lot, let alone in superhero format. So that I enjoyed. Though I will say this, Kamala needs more black friends, because she got the redheaded white girl, she got her Pakistani friend in the mosque, she got Bruno, and then she got the other kid. I'm like, what black people at? You know what I'm saying? I was just like, was somebody just like, well, we have Pakistani people, we don't need black people. I'm like, she could have black friends. You can stick some black people in there. But anyway, it was an enjoyable show. So it was definitely an enjoyable show. And if there's a bigger story that needs to be told here, just like with WandaVision, because when you watch Doctor Strange, WandaVision explains to you why Wanda is the bad guy. Like in Doctor Strange. So when they finally do this Marvels, the Marvels thing with Carol Danvers and Miss Marvel, when they finally do this team up, you need to watch Miss Marvel to find out why the team up is important. But again, I'd still like to know why she got swapped out for Brie Larson, or why she turned into Brie Larson. So share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below. Thank you for tuning in. Hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram. What are your thoughts about Miss Marvel? Did you enjoy it? Did you bail on it after episode 2 or 3? Did you stick with it all the way to the end like I did? Share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and we will continue to talk about it. Check out my Thor, I was about to say Ragnarok. My Thor Love and Thunder review is up on the channel as well, so we're going to be reviewing that. And like I said, we're waiting for Doom Patrol to start, and the next thing that we will review on this channel, unless something else comes up, will be Harley Quinn when it starts at the end of July. So that was it, guys. Like I said, enjoyable series. I'm not sure if it's something that I would go back and watch over and over again, but overall a very enjoyable series. It's nice to see a new character introduced, someone who's going to join the Young Avengers when they do the Young Avengers, and I look forward to seeing the journey of one Kamala Khan and her entire family. So that was it, guys. So for the final time, until next time, for the Marvels, because we don't review that too, take care. Don't forget to embiggen and protect your world. And about this, pew!